28/5/90, the day my brother was born. Now, 30 years on, I've decided to put together this short film to celebrate his 30th birthday.
People I chat to learn. Some of them shine, some of them burn. Some of them rise, some of them fall. For good or bad, I've known them all.
Growing up, Sonny was a very cute kid. He was short, with natural bleach blonde hair, and was quite shy. But he certainly wasn't scared when it came to things like outdoor activities.
Yeah, well, where do I start? Sonny. Well, cheeky chap, little shit a lot of the time. He was an all-action child, throwing himself head first into everything, often quite literally. It was in Blackpool when Sonny had the hump about something, can't quite remember what it was, probably about a t-shirt he wanted, and he stomped off and walked head first into the glass door of the shop. God knows how me, Bob and Sandy didn't piss ourselves laughing. He was still quite young. He'd arranged a competition, racing, running, through the beer garden of Fowler's Farm near Freeport. Managed to win because he was undoubtedly the fastest, dipped his head at the end, straight to the lamppost and split his head completely open. He got involved in loads of activities that we encouraged him to do. He had to go golf, football, go-karting. But it was always a slow start to things because he wanted to make sure he did them absolutely correctly, did everything right, and at the end he would be the one that excelled in all the things that he did. We bought him a drum kit. It was second-hand drum kit. Didn't spend a lot of money because we thought he'd play it for 5 minutes and that'd just be something stuck in the wardrobe. But I was amazed. In just days he was doing little riffs on it and he just mastered it. And one foot was going one way and his arms and legs all different directions. We always put that down to, he always used to be able to move one ear up and the other one down and all at the same time, and well, that must mean something.
Sonny was a funny little boy, always up to mischief, very loving. Always wanted to be carried everywhere. Sat on my hip and managed to break my foot. He's always had a smile that lights up a room.
We're really proud of Sonny, from his challenges at school, his success in the football team, to his multi-skilled abilities on the building site. He really has become a great man.
Sonny and I have always had a close relationship and we've made so many great memories over the years. We've been on a lot of trips together and we always have a great time. It's rare that we fight, and that's only ever if one of us has a couple too many. I'm thinking of Sonny mainly. But yeah, he's more than just a brother. He's definitely my best mate.
Sonny and Bob are so close, they're best friends. Bob idolises Sonny, they literally couldn't be closer. Sonny and Bob love each other so much, and they do so much together. They love going to music festivals and going on holiday together. I mean, who else would make a film like this for their brother?
Bob was protective of Sonny from a very young age. I can always remember, and it really got to us, that Sonny had written a card for Bob on his birthday, and it said, "Bob, thank you for looking after me all the time. Will you still look after me when we're men?" I'm not so sure that's not the other way round today, but there you go.
Over the years, Sonny has accumulated a great bunch of friends. Some through school, others through music and work, and really, absolutely anywhere. Sonny really is the life and soul of any gathering, and he always wants to get on with absolutely everybody, and everybody wants to be his friend.
How long have I known Sonny for? So we met in 2010, but to be honest with you, it feels like I've known him my whole life. One of my earliest memories was on a tour bus on the way home from a 2020 show. We weren't particularly close at this point, but he was absolutely wasted, just munching through this whole lettuce all to himself. It was kind of that moment I thought, like, yeah, this guy is definitely going to be a mate of mine.
My earliest memory of Sonny, probably when I joined St Margaret's School. I think me and him were probably the shortest people in the class, so straight away we hit it off, paired up, and yeah, we just got on like house on fire straight away.
So, obviously a lot of people think of me and Sonny as being really close friends now, but wasn't always the case. When we first met, it was in Honeywood in years 7 and 8 at school. We actually were kind of rivals, if anything, quite a strong word, but basically when you were that kind of age, Sonny and I were by far the two smallest in our group of friends. So that meant any time there was any kind of play fighting, so things like table wars or group fights or anything like that, I should stress that these were pretty friendly. We weren't like gangsters or anything at that age, but it was always me versus Sonny, so we kind of developed this kind of rivalry, or didn't really like each other at first. It was only actually like 3-4 years later when we started going to the same kind of gigs and found out we liked the same kind of music that we really started being friends. And then we've kind of never looked back since.
Right, so I was thinking back to when I first met Sonny when he was very young, must have been about 14, and I knew him very vaguely from the village, but not really at all. And there was, I think when it must have been one of the first times I probably met him, he was in our kitchen. Katie wasn't in the room, and I walked in and said, "Oh, hello," and he was facing the other way, like getting a drink or something, and he just like completely ignored me, and I immediately thought, what a little shit. Katie had failed to tell me that his hearing wasn't so hot, so I just didn't know, so I thought he was a really arrogant or stroppy teenager, and I thought, wow, he's a treat, isn't he? Very quickly after that we got to know each other, and he was absolutely great, and I felt quite bad for thinking that since, but it's also quite funny.
Okay, so my first memory of Sonny was when I came to come and work with Bob at the Great Barn, and it was to come and do some work with him on his brother's band, Sonny's band, NCPI. We did a great punk otter logo. So we're working away, and then in walks in this little man, swearing like a sailor, had a good laugh. After I finished saying hello to Jim, in comes Sonny. Had another good laugh. But seriously though, all those years that I was coming to the house, it was great. I feel very proud of all the bits and pieces we did with the bands on the tours, all the branding for the singles and all sorts of stuff we did. It's great. I've got a whole box of it upstairs. It's full of good memories, that stuff. It's great. It's great. So, I mean, it sounds a bit corny, but turned up to the Great Barn, a friend of Bob, and I left several years later with Sonny as a lifelong friend as well, so big cheers to Sonny.
What's my earliest memory of Sonny? It's got to be the Valley Green tour in Germany with the boys, where Sonny came along with us. Wouldn't speak to me for the entire thing because he was terrified of me.
Whoa, earliest memory of Sonny. My earliest memory of Sonny was we met at one of those concerts, can't remember which one, but I definitely remember watching Crossfaith with Sonny, and being like blown away. And it might have been because we were both really drunk, because that is when this whole thing that me and Sonny have of having beers started. It was that day. So maybe Crossfaith were amazing, maybe we were just a bit on it that day, not really sure.
Well, most of my memories of Sonny involve him having had a beer or two or many more. So it makes sense that my first memory of him would be like that too. So it was New Year's Eve 2008, 2009, and Josh was at a party with Sonny. So I wasn't actually there. Josh put Sonny on the phone, and all of a sudden I'm just talking to this guy who's mumbling, sounds very drunk, a very deep voice, no idea who he was. And then I remember the first time I met Sonny, he was nothing like what I'd expected from that call, except that he seemed to like beer.
Yeah, so I haven't counted, but I'd wager that the word beer is used more in this documentary than Sonny's name. It's no secret that Sonny likes a beer or 10.
Hooray for beer! I'm really glad you're here. Let's make this moment last. You feel so right, wanna be with you all night. Shout it out, hooray for beer!
Fosters, mate. Just keep smashing those Fosters. Don't let age change you, mate. Stick to Fosters.
If anybody that knows Sonny knows that he loves a can of Foster's or to miss any lager in his hand whenever he gets a chance. It's quite funny when me and Emily first got together, and probably up until we've been together for about 5 years, I think she had never met him when he was sober, which I suppose shows his commitment to beer.
When I think of Sonny, I think of monster trucks, Fosters, weird Yorkshire accent that he does when he's pissed, Fosters, and great advice that he's always given me, which is never let your beer supply go below 10 beers. So cheers, Sonny.
What do I think of when I think of Sonny? I think probably a can of Foster's, as every single time I now see him, although that's only on Zoom calls now, he's always got a can of Foster's in his hand.
It's always a Budweiser in a bottle or a Foster's in a tinny.
On the first day I met Sonny, he had a bottle of Bud in his hand.
Yeah, I remember Sonny with a pint in his hand almost solidly from, he must have been 14, 15, which is always quite an impressive move.
Yeah, good question. A time when Sonny and I had a beer together. There's quite a few occasions, but I do remember on one occasion, Sonny wanted to get on the amaretto, and he poured himself quite a large glass, went and put the bottle back, and by the time he got back, the glass had somehow been drank. And this happened 3 or 4 times. I don't think Sonny enjoyed himself, but I certainly did.
He's life and soul of the party, and the boy loves a beer. When he's falling asleep with that Red Bull can in his hand because he'd had too much. Just happy, carefree times, wasn't it? Any stag do we go on together? Just, again, getting absolutely smashed, having a brilliant time, loves a beer, the boy. Just partying and music and friends and good times and good memories.
So he's like really funny and just such a good crack. Like every time we have a beer together or go out or, any sort of social interaction, and he's just like life and soul, and it just wouldn't be the same without him there.
Mine is the word boozy. I've never really heard anybody else say that except Sonny. So that's kind of a thing that always sticks with me.
Sonny does like to have a beer with his mates, but it's not all about boozy memories.
Probably one of the best and funniest moments I had with Sonny was when we was round his, and I think it started off just with a sort of like a leopard skin scarf that one of us put on, and then it just got way out of control. Ended up doing some sort of catwalk, heels and everything. I think we both looked good, really good, hot from what I can remember actually. Yeah, we pulled it off.
So my favourite memory of Sonny was when we went to their place in Spain for a week. We had a brilliant time. One night we decided to all go down to the local music festival, minding our own business, and then a young man comes over. Me and the girls got excited thinking he was interested in us, but no, interested in Sonny he was. He introduced himself, told him that he thought he'd fallen in love at first sight, and then asked Sonny what his name was. And Sonny's response was, Sonny, like the sun.
Don't even need to say anything. As soon as he sees this, he'll start pissing himself. Yes. Honestly, it's the funniest thing either. There was no speech to it, there was nothing. It was purely one of those things you had to be there. And it was just all visual. All fucking visual. Anyway, I'll set the scene a little bit. We were sat in the mill, I think it was, working out in Spain again. And it was just one night we were fucking around. Jim had gone to bed, me and Son were just playing some video games or whatever it was, and then we were chatting. I had my Toblerone, Sonny had whatever snacks he had, and sat chatting away, and I got a bit colourful, waving the old Toblerone around.
My lasting memories of Sonny are just mainly being the life and soul of whatever it is that we're doing. If we're at a festival or a gig or a party, like Sonny is always the best version of himself during those times. Whether that's running into mosh pits or waking up and being hanging half out of a tent because he was hungover but the tent was too hot and he needed to get some fresh air but fell asleep half out of the tent. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. He's just a legend.
Sonny. You know, I've got very fond memories of Sonny. Going all the way back to when I was really young, 6 or 7 years old, him trying to haggle my mum and dad to get me beers at his New Year's party. Going and playing darts with Bob after, watching Sonny play the guitar, singing with everyone, having a good time, waiting for New Year's and then going home. You know, best sort of memory with Sonny for me is probably in Vegas. We went and watched the NASCARs. Both our families did. You know, we had a good time in the pro bull riding sort of calf. We all had to go on the bull. It was very funny. Sonny didn't do too well, but you know, he held on for his life. And yeah, just all the other things that we've done. We've done so much together. Been to many parties. Been long life friends, and yeah, I've enjoyed the whole time with him.
Yeah, we've had some amazing memories together. A lot of it around music, being on tour, being in the studio, or going to shows. I suppose some of the highlights would be when we wrote Rachel You're My Mind, we just laughed all day. Or when we get the opportunity to blast out Jonas Brothers first time and just piss everyone off, and especially by the 100th time that we played it, they definitely do hate us.
Shit.
Another great memory I have of times we spent with Sonny, actually it was a big group of us. We all did a trip across America, but this particular one happened in Vegas. So it was me, Sonny, Bob and Tori all went to watch England play in the Euros, I think it must have been. Yeah, Euros. All full of optimism. But that wasn't actually the part of the story. It was the game was a disappointing 1-1 draw with Russia. However, we both, or pretty much all of us, me and Sonny in particular, had maybe 3 or 4 steins. It was an 8 o'clock kickoff back here, but in Vegas that was about, I think, midday or something like that we finished. So we're both pretty steaming, should we say, at like 12, 1 o'clock, to the point that on the walk home, all kinds of things happen, but on the walk home, I think there's also, there's even, like a video of us thinking that it was a good time to get involved with the Michael Jackson impersonator, show a few different moves, and I just remember turning up back to the hotel pretty wrecked. Charlie wasn't really sure, and Charlie and Katie actually had both been out for a nice brunch, weren't really sure what happened, but to be honest, what did they expect?
Another one I'd say is one of our emotional memories, me and Sonny, was we both took up skateboarding. We both got the same skateboard. had to match. And we'd set up this ramp down the side of his house, and we set up this scaffold pole for grinding. None of us could do it. We was trying all day, and eventually Sonny went up the ramp, done the grind and nailed it. He was so excited. He ran over to me and went, "Russell, can I kiss you? Can I kiss you?" And I went, "Yeah." So he gave me this biggest, wettest snog, and then after he went, "Why did you let me kiss you?" I went, "I don't know, he was just so happy. I don't know."
Sonny, yep, old Sonny. The boy band, he should be in a boy band. He's got the looks for it. Handsome dude. Mind you, I did spoil those looks. One time when we had a boxing match at work, kicked the shit out of him. He didn't get up after that. That was in retaliation from when he decided to drop a brick on my head down the chimney. Left me a nice little note first and then decided to knock me clean out with a brick to the head. Nice boy. Has an emotional side too, of course. We were listening to Keith from Prodigy's funeral, working together. That was quite an emotional day. So he has got a sensitive side, I guess. When he's sober, that is. We also went to Spain several times, working together. Had a bit of a crack on the ferry. Kept me awake snoring. So I had to say to him that my time has come. I've packed my bags and I'm going home.
Some of my fondest memories of Sonny are 2003 is where we went for Rob's 30th. He'd never seen me dance before, I don't think, and that was his first experience of it, and he loved it. I mean, I have never seen someone go that mad over my dancing ever.
Possibly my all-time favourite memory with Sonny. We used to spend hours and hours and hours working out in Spain, and of an evening Jim would go and do his own thing, leave me and Sonny to it, and quite often we'd sit down in the mill bit just having a few drinks, having a laugh. We spent most of our time watching Lee Evans DVDs, so to this day I can't watch Lee Evans, I can't even fucking hear Lee Evans without thinking of Sonny. And even now when we meet up we'll reference it and we'll both be absolutely wetting ourselves laughing. I think the quote that instantly has got Sonny written all over it.
No! Fucking no, Dad. Things are going to change around here.
Great memory that I've got of Sonny is 2000 Trees. The first time that he went crowd surfing. I think it was when we were watching Slotface. Everyone else had gone in and I had my yellow anorak on, filled with everyone's in pockets, everyone's phones, keys, and you could see he really wanted to go in, and I was like, just go, I'll hold your hearing aids. So I put them in my pocket and off he went, and he just flew. I mean, and even 2000 Trees got an epic photo of him. It was just so funny.
One of my favourite Sonny memories has got to be a nice little sharing of the bed with me, him and Josh, and he decided that his bed wasn't comfy enough, so he wanted to become spooning partners with us after having probably, I don't know, about 10 kilos of sweet corn in his Subway. I think that's probably got to be up there with one of the best memories of Sonny. Don't change, mate. Don't change.
Oh, alright. Just watering me geraniums and me rhododendrons and me petunias and whatnot. So yeah, I feel very privileged to have grown up with Sonny. Got some great memories. I used to love it. We used to go round to theirs on a Thursday night after football training and stay over there. Jim and Bob would be sleeping in the living room talking about, I don't know, spreadsheets or something, and me and Sonny would be in his room talking about our sort of exploits with the ladies. And Sonny was quite young, so it was mostly me doing the talking, but he was absolutely fascinated with it, and we used to have such a laugh.
So memories of Sonny. One of the first ones that comes to mind is his stag do in Budapest. There's a lot of things that happen there that's quite memorable, but the one that kind of is at the top for me is when we were out really late one night. I think it might have been even like 6 in the morning, and it was someone's good idea to go to McDonald's, and I can't remember how it ended up here, but I think Sonny had heartburn or something like that, and he was just really hot, maybe as well or from the heartburn, I'm not sure exactly. but he took his top off and just laid on the floor of McDonald's just to cool himself down, like front on. I thought that was quite memorable.
So a memory of Sonny which always sticks out to me is when we were in America, and poor Sonny did all the driving on this trip, being the good sport that he is. And so he'd just driven quite a few hours from Yosemite to San Francisco, and we'd all gone out for dinner at the Cheesecake Factory. So big old pasta dishes, lots of carbs. We were all quite tired anyway, but we're, eating, drinking, chatting, and all of a sudden we look round and there's Sonny, and he's like, just leaning on the wall, completely spark out for the whole rest of the meal.
Favourite memories of Sonny? Definitely Reading Festival, all of the times. I mean, the first one was super, super special, super good, sunshine, mates, beers. But yeah, just every time we went Reading, it was just an absolute blast.
This is probably not family friendly, but I'm going to bring up the Bristol trip when him and Katie came to visit me in Bristol with my mum. And we went out, we were having beers, it was all cool, like we were going to go get some pizza later and everything. So the bloke I was seeing at the time was a stoner, and he smoked a lot of weed, like all the time. And he offered Sonny a bit, and Sonny just, again, I don't know, trying to be cool. Basically, he smoked this blunt, and it descended very quickly. So he went from being totally cool, having a few beers, being well up for it, to looking a bit pale, then pretty much going green. And then we were sat in this Italian restaurant trying to have pizza, and I had to send him back to the hotel in a taxi because he was absolutely, well, he was bollocksed. He said he threw up all night. He was really sick. Anyway, what a wild time. But yeah, fucking idiot. But yeah, it was just really funny. But I think, like, all of that, it must have been quite bad for him at the time. He must have felt awful, but it was really funny. And I think all of that stuff that I've spoken about really sums him up.
There's two of them, and they both involve Sonny. The first one was about 18 years ago when we were sort of 15, and we popped over to Spain with Matt, me and Matt, and Bob and Sonny, and we were basically there as labourers, free labour it was. I mean, you know what gym's like. It was a bit like child labour, really. We didn't have any food, water, anything like that. We were just made to work. But anyway, I remember Sonny was giving out the orders even then on the building site, and it just so happened that he asked me and Bob to sand down some beams in the kitchen, what is now the kitchen over there. Now Bob and I went about our task with, well, as much enthusiasm as we could, but not very much expertise. And I remember Sonny coming in afterwards and basically telling us it was shit, and him and Matt then had a go, and of course they did it perfectly. And the second holiday was actually the second time that I went to Spain with Sonny and Bob, and Jess came along. We were a bit older then, so Sonny and I certainly stayed up until the early hours of the morning drinking beers and whatnot. And we had a little visit to a place called Motril where my mate David lived. We had a lovely evening and ended up going back to Davies to stay, and Jess and I had to sleep in a single bed. Sonny and Katie in a single bed as well. So it was a bit of a squeeze after a few beers as well. And in the morning, David had popped off to work early doors, and Sonny decided he'd have a little shower and ended up flooding the bathroom. And we were leaving that day and we weren't going to see David, so we left him a little note saying sorry about the bathroom, but it's flooded. And that was that. 2 brilliant holidays, both with Sonny.
And on my stag, I think that one of the most memorable things there was him diving head first through a stack of plastic cups onto a table. It might not sound that funny right now, but if you see the footage, it's just the way that he leans into it. There was just something funny about that.
One thing I'd say about Sonny is that it's always a fun time with him, and I think in these times where you don't get to see your friends, that really kind of sticks out.
In general, when he's had a few drinks, Sonny, from the first time I met him almost 6 years ago, always tells me that he loves me, which initially I'd always laugh off, particularly if I was drunk as well, but it is actually really genuine, and I know that he loves me, Bob and Polly so much.
Probably the time when me and him had the most fun was when Jim just got the house over at Spain. Lovely house, pulled up. Me and my dad sort of turned up out of the blue. And rather than showing me around this lovely house, the first thing we done was got on the back of this ped and just roared up and down this road all day. And that was brilliant, that was.
I remember when I first left home, Sonny was the only person that helped me move. God, he couldn't have been that old at the time because I was only 18, I think, something like that, moving from home to a flat in Braintree. And bless him, Son came with me. As soon as we'd put all the furniture in that in, I went and done my first big boy shop, and Son came with me. I'm sure people thought we might have been a couple or something, but we're doing a fucking shop at Tesco's, and Son helped me with that. It was very surreal, but it's something I won't forget. And I think we just spent all night playing the Xbox. My first night at my own gaff, and Sonny was there to share that with me.
On the River Thames!
So one story from me and Sonny was in 2000 Trees in 2018. We both were there with a group of a lot of the other people and our other close friends. But true to form, it kind of got to the end of the night. I think it was the second night where there was all the silent discos. And pretty much everyone decided to go home. Not for the first time, Sonny and I decided maybe actually it was a good idea to stay out and keep going. So we literally stayed out right until the end. And we had a pretty fun time, but safe to say we were pretty drunk by the time we were trying to get back to our tent. So first of all, we were bickering like an old couple because Sonny had forgotten where the tent was, even though he wouldn't admit it at the time. There was a really bad fog all around us, so we could barely see, and ended up going about 2 miles in the wrong direction because I didn't want to leave Sonny to walk off into the fog alone. He may not be with us now if I had let him do that. But the funny thing was, in between us arguing, the last song that played at the silent disco was Hey Jude. And every now and then we'd kind of stop our bickering and start singing like na 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 na. And that must have pissed off so many people. It was about 4 a.m. But every now and then you would just hear a tent somewhere off in the distance just shout out, Hey Jude. And that was the first thing, for whatever reason, that I thought of the next day. We did make it back in the end, and everyone else in our camp area and everything like that said they heard us from afar away. Yeah, we must have upset some people that night, but it was a good time.
What you want, 'cause it won't come round, 'cause she never loved me, go. Yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, I was just having a Stella in the shower, just thinking about Sonny and all, you know. I was just singing a song. Me and Sonny were in a band once, really good band, Distortion Condemned. I was just singing one of their songs. I've got some great memories with Sonny. One that particularly stands out is when we were on a football tour. I think I was probably about 11 and Sonny was probably about 9. And we were on this cable car going up the mountain, and suddenly young Sonny shouts out, "Tits!" And we all thought, what the bloody hell's going on here? And we looked below us, and there was some woman in a swimming pool with her tits out, completely naked. Sonny had spotted her first. He bloody loved it. Of course, Jim was very proud of him. His son spotting that. God, we had some right memories.
How would I describe being mates with Sonny? Only one way, mate. It really is an honour.
What do we think of when we think of Sonny? Here are 10 things that we love about him. Number 1, he's always up for a laugh.
Number 2, he's got a very, very cheeky sense of humour.
Number 3, he's a fantastic musician. Ba-dum bum.
Number 4, he's a big fan of the Wiggly Worm.
Number 5, he absolutely loves a lager.
6. He absolutely loves my mother.
Number 7. One for luck.
Number 8. I absolutely love Sonny's carefree, free-pouring wine measurement.
Number 9. When you go out with Sonny and you're sharing a room, make sure you're really, really drunk, because otherwise you're getting no sleep. That geezer snores like a beast.
Number 10. More recently, Sonny became a gorgeous little dad to baby Gus. Ah, Slovenia!
Hold on a minute. All these memories and not one person has mentioned... Oh yeah, the beer pong table tennis incident.
Table tennis fails.
It just makes no sense. I don't understand how that could happen to anyone on a table tennis table.
Table tennis, that's another thing that reminds me of Sonny. He's good at faceplanting table tennis tables. That's always up there.
We're all standing around a table tennis table at the end of one of his parties, chatting away, and he just decided to face plant the table tennis table, smashed it to pieces, several bottles, glasses everywhere, and people just pissed themselves. Apart from Sonny, who was fast asleep.
Music is a massive part of Sonny's life. He's been in numerous bands over the years, each with varying degrees of success, and he's certainly created a lot of memories.
Music was always a passion for Sonny from when he was very young. He loved jumping up on his bed with playing air guitar to all bands like Green Day, Blink. He was big time influenced by Bryan Adams. The summer of '69 particularly, obviously the big hit, and then we had to get him a guitar. That was a big thing, so made sure his first one came from Cash Converters, a bit like the song Five and Dime.
So I thought before we kick off with some of our favourite moments of Sonny, it'd be good to do some word association and think of some words that we associate with Sonny.
That's a good idea. I would have to say sausage roll, Scotch egg,
yeah,
and the smelliest arse.
Yeah.
That tour bus, that poor tour bus.
Stinking.
Stinking. Probably still smells at
Yeah,
the
it
moment.
probably still does, yeah.
I met Sonny when he was touring with his band 2020. I think the first place that I met him was Southampton. And I remember thinking, God, that drummer, he looks alright. Bit of alright. No, he played drums really well. And as the tour went on, it was 2020 supporting Saving Amy. It became apparent that him and his family were just utter sweethearts. I then went on to tour with Sonny and 2020, along with Rob, his brother, and Jim, his father. And Jim had some very interesting touring rules, which, having been a tour manager for a little while at that point, I struggled to come to terms with. I feel like I really got to know Sonny over Morrison's breakfasts every single morning, which we coincided with a fuel stop. And I don't know if you've ever eaten in Morrison's before. Well, for those who haven't, there is either fry-up, smaller fry-up, or toast. So needless to say, we all came away from that tour fairly heavy.
So we picked our top 3 funny Sonny moments.
And coming in at number 3 is when Sonny and I did our Barbie Girl reenactment on this machine. I think it was at a service station somewhere, but it's pretty funny. Moving on to number 2, has to be the time that we were on tour with Lawson and The Wanted, and we decided to party bomb the Lawson boys' hotel room in only our boxers, but subsequently locked ourselves out of our own hotel room, so we had to go and get then the hotel manager to come and let us back into our rooms.
And at number 1, the best memory, which has no clip, is the curry spill.
Yeah, so when we were down in Bournemouth doing some recording, poor old Rick and George left us in their house, not knowing that when they came back, we will have broken the French window, sliding door. We'd have lost a cat or a dog, which I can't remember which one it was. And not only that, but Sonny spilled his cornmeal all over their cream carpet.
And it's not the fact that the curry spilled all over the cream carpet that's a problem, it's the fact that Sonny then had no curry.
Sonny's biggest achievements in music, well, if I had to pick one or two, it would have to be performing at V Festival and selling out Shepherd's Bush Empire.
Sonny, I miss my teenage years of being a groupie for you, coming and watching you at shows. It was good times, drinking a lot of beers, bumping around with very, very young women, pushing them out of the way to get to the front was always good fun, mate.
And he was doing really well in 2020, which was cool and so weird when we went to see some of the gigs in London to hear loads of teenage girls screaming out his name. I've never... it was really... I mean, I felt very out of place in that audience, but it was absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, he's just so talented, and it was really cool to see that, like, firsthand.
It was only a couple of days ago I was playing the demo of the new band with his young. I was so impressed. Much more mature music and influences from much more mature bands. I really hope it does well. I'm excited to hear more.
Sonny let me into his life a couple of years ago finally, after much time of trying. It's a pleasure knowing him. He's a fine young man, and he's got a lot ahead of him. He's got a lot behind him, and such standout moments include going to Ducks Harbour, which is one of my finest musical moments, where essentially we just rented a strange little place and just drank for the whole weekend, pretended that we were playing good music. I'm not sure we were, but it sort of ended on the Saturday night with us walking into the tiny village just for a bit of pizza after a long day of drinking, but we decided to hit the pub. Josh was so drunk that he forgot he was holding a beer and just dropped it and smashed it everywhere. We watched a band, and it turned out the guitarist was actually a former member of a band called Katrina and the Waves, and was worth quite a bit of money, so we were pestering him, and it was a great time, and come away with a great love and respect for Sonny.
In terms of the band and how I started playing with Sonny, it was actually weird, given that we're friends so long, that it took us this much time to do it. But I remember a few people left the band before, which was Rivers Young, and actually was out for my birthday. We'd had a few drinks, and as you classically do, start talking about music. And I said at the time, and it was probably just because I was in London, like we hadn't played as much, but we should just like jam, or we should just play music, and both of us thought it was a good idea. So it took us about another 4 months after that to do it. True to form, it was just before Christmas, I think, or between Christmas and New Year. So anyway, I ended up going to the studio. Me and Sonny played, just kind of jammed, and both had a good time. And then we got Max involved as well, and little did I know that was kind of like an audition to be part of it. But everything was super easy, and we kind of clicked straight away. So ever since then, it's been good times and great fun.
In 2015, Sonny made a massive commitment by marrying his childhood sweetheart. A day they shared with all of their close friends and family.
Sonny and I met in 2004. We both lived in White Notley, and we met properly at the Cross Keys pub in the village.
it was the duck race day and it was the best day. Then 9 years later, on the very same day, on duck race day, Sonny proposed. It was one of the most special days of my life. On the 3rd of August 2015, me and Sonny got married. It was a fantastic day. Everyone loved it and kept saying how good it was, even now.
Like to have Sonny join the family. Absolutely brilliant. I'm really proud that he's my brother-in-law. I remember their wedding day, and it feels, I mean, I surprised myself with how emotional I was about it. It was just absolutely beautiful. I feel really honoured that they had me as a bridesmaid, even though I'm probably the least graceful person that certainly I know, and probably they do as well. But yeah, what a day. It was great. I remember not being very comfortable being able to walk in heels and smashing my foot through that lamp. I also remember Sonny galloping around at the end of the night with his shirt undone and his tie around his head like a cowboy, which will always stay in my memory as one of the good ones. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, and it's just an absolute honour to have him in the family, really. Yeah, couldn't wish for anyone better.
I then also had the immense honour of attending his wedding, where he surpassed himself by doing the speech actually very well. I was very proud of him.
I'm so proud to be Sonny's wife. He's absolutely the love of my life. I really couldn't wish for a better husband.
On the 7th of February 2020, Sonny became a father. Baby Gus joined their family, and Sonny hasn't stopped smiling since.
Him and Katie have always been perfect for each other. Both their personalities just completely match. They really look after each other, really care for each other. They've got sort of similar attitudes to things, and it's just spot on. So Sonny's really caring. You know, Gus coming along, like I say, from the get-go, he's just proven to be the most amazing father, the most thoughtful, and he just does all the right things for Gus, completely all the right things. So yeah, so he's really caring, really thoughtful, does everything for his family, gets on with his, you know, like his mum and dad and brother really well. So he's a proper family guy.
And now he's got a child, which I haven't met, but I heard is a wonderful human being, only being a couple of months old, so there's still time for that to change, but I can only imagine with Sonny and Katie being parents that child will grow up to be one hell of a person.
So who would have thought out of the three of us that Sonny would be married and have a kid, little Gus?
Yeah, I can't wait to meet Gus when we get out of all of this. First thing we'll be doing is driving down and saying hello to the little man.
He's taken to being a father so fucking well already. The love he showed for Gus is just inspirational. So he's one of those dudes who would do anything for anyone. He'd give you the shirt off his back, but he doesn't expect anything in return. And he's a stubborn shit. And he won't ask for help, but he knows that he's got help from many, many people, because he's one of those guys you would do anything to help as well, because you know that he would help you. He's just all-round lovely guy.
It's incredibly hard to find a friend like Sonny, somebody that you can't trust wholeheartedly and be able to tell anything to. I'm so excited to see him flourish as his new role as a father, and I know me and Emily are incredibly grateful to have him, Kate and Gus in our life.
Oh, it was lovely seeing little Gus, and I'm so pleased that you and Katie have got a dear little boy, and it's the best birthday present anybody could give you.
Now Sonny's got his own little Gus, and we've got our own one on the way, and I just feel really lucky that that my kid's going to grow up with Gus, and also with Polly, and with Gulliver and Ennis, and I just think it's lovely. So anyway, here's to Sonny. Happy 30th, mate. Fucking love you.
Sandy and I are over the moon to see Sonny and Katie bring Gus into the world. We thought it might never happen, but he's beautiful. Starting their new home together is going to be an adventure. The house is a credit to the both of them.
When Gus was first born and Sonny was holding him in the room on his own, Sonny just couldn't believe that we had a little son. And then Sonny walked Gus in when I was laying in the recovery room, and it was just the most amazing, emotional time I think me and Sonny have ever had together, because we were suddenly a family, and there's 3 of us and we've made this perfect little baby. It was just incredible, really. Even though it's only been 4 months, Sonny's just a natural. He plays to Gus on the drums and to the guitar, and Gus loves that.
Then, on the 5th of May, Sonny got a big surprise. Polly was born, a month early. She must have wanted to be here to celebrate the 30th birthday of her Uncle Sonny.
So Sonny has recently become an uncle to Polly May. The day that Bob phoned Sonny and told him we were expecting a baby, he was just so excited. And later that evening we went to Lee's 30th birthday party, and obviously Sonny knew he couldn't tell anyone, but he'd had a few beers and just kept sort of secretly smiling at me. But he did pretty well, not to give it away. Throughout the whole pregnancy, him and Katie were there for us, any questions we had, all about the scans, any symptoms. And when Polly arrived, Bob was doing all the messaging in the family group, and I didn't really know what was going on. But when I went back, when I read the messages back now, Sonny's responses and Katie's are so heartfelt. They make me feel really emotional. When Polly is a teenager and feels the need to watch some chick flicks such as The Notebook and Dear John, we will be sending her round to Uncle Sonny's with her popcorn for a film night. And we have no doubt he'll be the best uncle to her.
With Sonny just becoming a dad, it'd be easy for him to be distracted and not seem so excited about little Polly here, but not Sonny. He's so excited and really proud to be an uncle, and I'm just so happy they can grow up together and hopefully be good mates.
Yeah.
I was overjoyed when I found out that he was at last, or they were at last pregnant. And amazing to actually get Gus. And twice as amazing to end up with Polly as well, both little grandchildren within 3 months. Sonny's very proud to be an uncle. Can't wait to be able to hold Gus and Polly. I can't wait to see the 2 of them playing together when they get bigger. Hopefully they'll be best friends forever, like their dads have always been.
Hey guys, yeah, you're right. Stuff here. I don't think I can say this, to be honest. I'm gonna be on camera. I just don't want to lie. What's that? What's that? Alright, ready?
It's TT Tuesday! Wait a second. No, there's something wrong there, it's not. It's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah, it's Thursday. Yeah. Thursday. Well, and we're all 30 now. Oh yeah. It's 30-30 Thursday!
This was it was after another hugely successful Distortion Condemned gig, I think, during our breakthrough year.
we sold millions and millions and millions of records. And because of the fame, we had women throwing themselves on us, I think, to be honest.
Oh, you want more? How much more? I don't think I have any more. Sorry, that's me. Alright, thank you, bye.